All right, hello wine drinking people. Today is Tuesday, the 22nd of July, making our way through a long, hot summer here, and we've got some great events this week, almost sold out. I think we just have a few seats left for our pre-rot tasting at Cafe Max. This is our every other week event we do on Wednesday nights for 35 bucks, 8 wines, a couple apps from Chef Oliver Sassi, and it's kind of like happy hour with wine, I would like to say. And then they've got that $45 menu, dine-out menu at Cafe Max. You can have a fantastic meal there for still under $100 and really go nuts. All right, well, we've got our Grange tasting on Friday night. I think we have 1 or 2 seats left for that. We always do an event to showcase the new release of Australia's iconic wine, and Grange will be tasting from 3 decades, the current release 2009, the 1998, one of my favorite vintages in the 90s, and then the 1980, a killer old vintage of Grange, just to showcase how well this wine ages and why it's become one of the world's great wines. So talking about aging wines, Chardonnay is not usually a varietal that we talk about with aging, but you know what? The world's great whites, and Chardonnay is one of the great white varietals. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Some people don't like Chardonnay, and it's not the Chardonnay that you don't like, because Chardonnay truly is one of the world's great wines. It's the oak, and a lot of people have lightened up on the oak. And we've got 2 very dramatically different styles of vintage Chardonnay on the table here, maybe from unlikely places for some of you that love Chardonnay and you think Burgundy is the end-all, and it is, and we've got some great vintage Burgundies on this offer, and California produces exceptional Chardonnays, which they do. We've got some old California Chardonnays on here, including the 1999 Marcassin, which I think I've got a few too many 9s in there, but 1999 Marcassin, which we showed at our vintage white tasting, and to me was one of the wines of the night. You know, Chardonnay has this wonderful bright acidity that enables it to age, and has this lovely luscious fruit, which enables you to drink it young. And we've got 2 iconic producers from different hemispheres. Meerlust, which is the Myburgh family, and these guys have been growing grapes since 1756, 8 generations of this family. This is one of the cult wines of South Africa, and all estate bottles from Stellenbosch, and from vineyards planted in 1991. So this is a fabulous wine, and 2008 may be a little old for some people, but they say that this wine can age for 8 years after the vintage. So according to them, we still got 2 more years before it reaches full maturity. But this wine, to me, reminds me of an older Burgundy. It has that flinty, minerally note to the nose. It still has some nice fruit to it, and has a firm hand of acidity holding everything together, reminiscent to me in a blind tasting of maybe a top-level Macon Burgundy, Pouilly-Fussé, or something like that, or maybe even a Meursault. It's got some nice richness still to it, but still very much alive. If you like older vintage wines, and you know who you are, that's right, Chardonnay Ray, you're out there, and I knew you were going to love this offering. We've also got one of the top wineries from Oregon, from the Dundee Hills, the Argyle Chardonnay Nut House, and this wine got 92 points in the Wine Advocate. Both of these wines are just $10. That's right, folks. We got a stupid deal on these wines, and we're passing it on to you, our wine-drinking people. This wine, you know, some of the world's coolest climates, Brian Koziol and Roland Souls were looking for, and they laid stake in the Oregon's Willamette Valley in the 80s. 1987, they got started. And these guys also make top-level sparkling wine, and we got some in the store. We're going to throw it on this offering just for the heck of it, and you know, this 2008 Chardonnay is still very much alive. Like I said, 92 points in the Wine Advocate. They said it should drink well through 2015. So, hey, you don't want to hold on to these wines for several years in your cellar. These are wines you're buying to drink today. If you like vintage whites, these are wines drinking at the peak of their, if you like I said, older wines at their peak. And we got some, like I said, some older vintage wines. Everything 2008 and before, Chardonnay in the store. We're throwing on this offering for you, our people that love vintage whites. You know who you are. Again, Chardonnay Ray, I know you're out there, and you got some friends out there to like vintage wines. The Argyle comes in a screw cap. You may want to let it open up for a little while. Screw caps tend to be a little reductive when you open them up, but after this wine has a chance to breathe, it is beautiful. All right, well, check it out. All of our vintage whites. I'm your host, Andrew Lamposoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying, remember, always drink the good stuff first.